Exodus 16. So I wanted to talk about poor Aaron and Moses. So there was no king except for God who led them out of Egypt, right? And so, like, there were elders, right? And family monarchs in these times, because that's how the people had themselves situated, right? And so they came to Moses and Aaron and they said, hey, we're hungry. Definitely wasn't the first time that they said, hey, Moses and Aaron were hungry. And so these two guys, in a way, I feel like they felt powerless often, and which is kind of interesting, because one would think that, with all these miracles that were worked through them, they could just say, maybe they were too humbled and scared of God to ask for help. But one would think that they could just put it before the Lord, their God, and or our God, and say, hey, we need help. Can you help us? I guess, we've read the entire text, so we have a different vision of God, and of course, Jesus definitely gives us a more humble vision. But back then, they feared God. Like, he had killed thousands. He had performed very scary miracles. He led them with a cloud from the sky, which most of us consider like a tornado, and a fiery tornado, like at night. So they were, led through the desert, and obviously moving through the night was better than moving during the day because of the heat, right? So, but they went through and complained, and the thing is like, Moses had to use Aaron to be his voice because he was not good with his words, which, obviously read before, God was not really impressed with, because he believed that Moses was fine doing it on his own. And so, but it's interesting, their patience. So they were not kings. They were not princes. They were the spiritual leaders of their people. And Moses did a pretty good job, honestly. He wasn't used to or trained to take care of thousands of people, right? It wasn't until later that organization was put into with the people so that they had a better system, which we'll read about later. But, I mean, it's just, I can't imagine thousands and thousands of people coming to me and being like, hey, I have no idea what's in store. Like, I don't know what to do about all these starving people. And so, he had taken care of, so in the end, they spoke to God, and God answered the prayers and spoke through them and gave them instructions. And still, the people didn't listen. Like, here you are getting all the food you need. You've been taken care of and you've been delivered by our hands and our involvement. We led you out of Egypt to freedom. We took the yoke off of your back. You have to walk through the desert as we travel to the promised land. But still you complain. And then you are taken care of and you are given this food, this gracious gift from God. He has answered and spoken through us to you what is required. And you don't listen. You keep the food longer. You take more than you need. and you don't rest on the Sabbath? Where is your belief? Why do you not fear him as we do? Did you not see the miracles that happened in Egypt? I do think one thing is interesting is the fact that they put some of the manna in a jar to be saved for generations so that people would know that they had been received and taken care of even after the generations had passed. 40 years of this food being supplied. I wonder if they started taking it for granted. I can't imagine being a voice over hundreds of thousands of people, having to hear their complaints and manage them without anything being organized. It must have been chaos. But we have much more to read because things do get better.